All right, excited to be here today with my new friend Giovanni Bottan, or Gio for short. Gio produced and toured with bands for many years, touring full time, and then he went on to build a thriving music marketing agency. And now he helps lead Smart Noise, which is a cutting edge tech startup revolutionizing how music connects with its audience. So I'm really excited to have him on the podcast today to talk a little bit more about in today's day and age where we have the internet and we have AI and technology to help us connect with our fans, how can we actually use it to build a community? And how do we also use it to make sustainable income with our music so we don't have to rely on an external job or something else to pay the bills? So, Gio, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Absolutely, man. Thanks a lot. And you made me sound way cooler than what I actually am. So thank you.
I don't think so at all. I mean, I think we're just scratching the surface. But Gio, to kick things off, for anyone who this is their first time meeting you or connecting with you, could you share a little bit more about your background in terms of how you came to be working with Smart Noise?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been making music my whole life. I was born an emo kid, so I played in bands since I like was 12 or something like that. Toured, slept on floors, all that kind of stuff. So I've been in the music space since pretty much forever.
Real quick, Gio, when you say emo kid, I mean that was like my childhood. So I'm just curious, like,
Oh shit, okay.
what, what are some of the bands that you grew up listening to? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my god, they used Funeral a Friend, Escape the Fate, Old Time Low. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Okay, dude. One of our first tours. So I toured full time for about 10 years as well. So I can definitely relate to already just the intro of your story. But one of our first like breakout tours was with All Time Low, and that was like a dream come true for us because we grew up listening to them as well. But sorry, continue. I'd love to hear more about it.
I could talk about this for freaking hours, but yeah, man. So, and then while I was doing the band thing, I started working with bands in my studio. I was doing production, mixing, mastering, all this stuff, and I did that like full time for three, like 4 or 5 years ish. And then basically every band that came to the studio was like, okay, the project sounds great now, but like, do you have any tips on how we can have more people listen to it? And at the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I can do it. That's not my job, But then, because I just generally like to learn about stuff, I started helping them. And fast forward in 2020, I launched a music marketing agency to work with hundreds of artists, from indie artists up to a few major label artists as well. And then a few years ago, to scratch our own niche, we launched a music tech company called Smart Noise. It's think like HubSpot for the music marketing. So like things like ad campaigns, fan data collection, fan data management, pre-sales, email marketing, all that stuff.
Cool. Sorry, I was actually just browsing the website as you're talking about it. Smart Noise. It looks really cool.
Thanks, man.
As someone who's both has experience on the music side and has experience digital marketing and now like creating a software tech company, it's funny, dude. I feel like in some ways you're literally like describing like it's like a mirror image to my life as well. Like I have been on the same path, right? And we have a software as a service that we're developing right now. Very serendipitous, just the timing. But as someone that has experienced those different worlds, I'm curious to hear your perspective on kind of the current state of the music industry, and what do you see as some of the biggest like challenges that indie music artists are facing right now, and then we can have a conversation about how we can help them overcome those.
Absolutely. So I don't know what your point of view is on this exactly, but like from someone who's been running an agency for the past 4 or 5 years, most of the artists that I talk to and most of the people in general, I basically don't. An agency is probably not the best thing that you need to like pursue right now. I would say that like artists right now are really starving for sustainability. So like being able to actually make a living from their music and actually make a living off of their existing fan base, whether it's 100 people or 15,000 people. So I see that changing super fast, and I'm seeing a lot of artists because we have the agency where we can serve people already young that maybe have a higher budget to invest, but at the same time thinking that well this is great and that's good, but I like the industry that I see is where most artists can sustain themselves with like tools and resources and can afford to thrive on a sort of lower promo budget, if you will. So then they can focus more on making music and actually monetize their existing fan base they have because um, it's weird, man. Like, having to, even from a agency standpoint, having to, wait 6 months, 1 year or more to like recoup the budget. As someone who's selling the service, that's great. But like at the same time, we are in the music industry because we love working with music and with artists. So after a while, especially when it's like indie artists that just have $1,000 to spend for an entire year, I'm starting to think like, I don't know, man. Like, I wish there was a better way to, do this, and that's why I, started building smart noise and basically try to build the same things that we were doing manually as an agency, but for like like 1/10 of the cost, basically, if not less. So that's kind of a rant in a way, but yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like one of the biggest issues just around like monetization and reaching your fans, doing it as an independent artist. And part of what led you to build this platform is wanting to create something that's more accessible to everyone, and not necessarily just people who are able to have the budget to afford working with the agency. I'm curious from your experience with like running the agency, and you brought up such a good point around like what other industries are there where it's like you have to wait 6 months after like the game to like
we
see
are
how
the
it
only one,
went?
man. We are
It's
the
wild.
Yeah, because there is no other industry where you hire an agency and I mean, maybe with like things like SEO where, that is going to take, 3, 4, 6 months to, see results. But at the same time, not 90% of the services and just how business, whether it's, a bank or a music artist and you want to do it seriously, you are a business, then like it's kind of insane that we are still like that we still need to wait 6 months or more to recoup the budget, and partially it's because the industry is kind of broken in some ways, so we're trying to like rebuild it in a way, but yeah, that's what I will that I love to focus on right now, honestly.
I'm curious in that world where for a lot of like the traditional revenue streams you have to wait a long time to kind of recoup the investment. What have you found that's working right now for artists that like is it still going down that path, or have you seen artists doing creative things to monetize that are getting them better results than using that?
Yeah, so I see two things right now. One is the type of artists who, because they are posting, once a day on IG, on TikTok, eventually, they grow to a point where just organically they get traffic to, DSPs and they get to 500,000 monthly users or more, then they make a very good income off of that. But it's a double-edged sword, where like it's definitely achievable, but it takes a long, long time. So if you run ads, for instance, you get results much quicker, but you buy it with, money. When you do it, organic content, you buy your way with time. So would you rather, wait, 2 years, or would you rather wait, 6 months and just doing with, paying for ads? So these are just two scenarios that I see right now, and it's a way bigger topic as well for like these two macros, and that's what I see right now. But in terms of how artists are, monetizing their audience and mostly online because obviously there are gigs, there's sync licensing, there is a lot of things that artists can do, as you know. But one thing that I've been doing personally, and trying to sort of help artists put in place, is some sort of system where you can drive awareness, you grow your socials, let's just say, with ads, and instead of just waiting 3 months or 6 months to recoup that budget with Spotify payouts or Apple Music payouts, you have a system in place where you can sell stuff to your fans, because that's like, it still blows my mind how artists with like 500,000 monthly listeners or even more than that don't even have merchandise, don't even have like some sort of community thing, like something to sell. It's mind blowing to me still. But on the other hand, artists who do that, where they understand, okay, I'm getting traffic to my DSPs, to my socials, in some way, whether it's with organic content or ads or influencer marketing, whatever. But then, instead of just slowly waiting for the results to basically come, I have this system in place where I can either retarget those fans with ads and show them a specific offer to join my private community where I get access to music before it comes out, or exclusive merch, or something like this. And the artists that do this, I think, are the ones that nobody talks about, because obviously everyone likes the like viral TikTok superstar, but nobody sees the 15,000 monthly listeners artist that is selling $5,000 of merch every month. So, and that's, I believe, it's much more achievable, because like a very niche business, if you can serve a very specific type of client, and their needs, and what they want, if you can tailor your music, your style, your like messaging to a very specific type of person, it's easier to get to 200 people who generally love what you do and are more than willing to give you $9 a month for your private community. And I'm actually more focused on this type of stuff, because I mean, going viral is something that you cannot control, and it's something that 1% of artists can actually achieve. But it looks like it's like every artist can go viral, and yes, you can, but like you always see the headlines, you only see the sort of surface, but you don't see the artist making $5,000 a month because they had 150 people on their private community and are able to sell 50 t-shirts every month. So yeah, that's what I'm really passionate about.
Good stuff. Yeah, for some reason, as you're describing that, I was in my mind, I was visualizing like an iceberg where, yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is that, there are things on the surface that it's easier to pay attention to those because they're the things on the surface and everyone can see them. So things like your follower accounts or your monthly listeners, these are things that are almost like social symbols. But what's underneath the surface in a lot of cases is so significantly different in terms of, someone that actually has a business where they're making offers to true fans. They're building some real depth, sort of like having a root system on a tree, or having like underneath the iceberg, you really have like a thick foundation.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of these flashy, kind of things, 500,000 monthly listeners, if they don't actually have an offer that they're making, then they might be making substantially less than someone with 5,000 or 10,000 monthly listeners with that they're actually true fans that they're connected with.
Yeah, there are so many artists. I think that is one example was I can't remember the name right now, but was like a big artist where with like 1.2 million monthly listeners was not able to sell 5 tickets. I understand how important that is. Like, obviously, I'm not saying you should not give a shit about like Spotify numbers, because they do matter. But at the same time, if that's the only thing that you're chasing, especially when you understand how the unit economics work behind it and how revenue is actually driven by this different medium, DSPs or merch and tickets. I mean, I don't see how you shouldn't consider adding these type of things. So then, I mean, you can still post once a day. You can still do everything that you're doing, but why not have like one offer? Hey, join my private community for $9 a month, and you get access to X, Y, and Z. This is literally something that would allow you to, keep investing every month and not seeing any return to at least breaking even and not, you know, spending anything out of pocket and have your basically existing fan base paying your music growth, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess the next question I have is around the logistics of these types of campaigns. One thing that you mentioned earlier was around how you can kind of get wherever you want to go, either by investing the time or the money. Like you can, keep posting every single day on social media, and eventually, if you're consistent and your quality gets better, then you kind of eventually hit that point where you get a return. But you're investing time versus like investing money in ads and getting a faster return. I'm curious, what does the next step look like in terms of the campaigns that you've run for getting people off of these other platforms like Meta or TikTok or YouTube and actually having them join your platform or joining your email list or your community? What does the actual sign up process look like in your experience?
Okay, so there is this one campaign that I've run for 5 artists now, and this is actually something that I've done to understand exactly what works, so then we can actually build that as a feature for Smart Noise next year, and that's actually super exciting. But the model that has been working, and I think you're aware of this, is the free plus shipping model. Do you know how that works?
Yeah, Fierce Shipping is great, and I'd love to hear what you found from your experience in terms of that campaign. I know there's different kinds of free plus shipping, like CDs and different things.
Yeah, so I've done this exact same thing on purpose for 5 different brands because I wanted to say, okay, what if I do the exact same thing? How replicable can it be? And so all that was basically you got a CD for free, but the thing that makes the whole difference here is it's not completely free. People can choose to pay zero, but they can also choose to pay whatever they want. So $5 to 7, 10, 50, whatever. And then before they, either pay zero or 5 or 10, they can also add another item before they place the order. So think like a T-shirt or a separate CD, and that is something that they actually pay for. So $5 to 25 ish, and then on the thank you page is some sort of main bigger offer. So thank you so much for supporting the my band, my project, or whatever. We would like to give you offer you an exclusive bundle that is a t-shirt, vinyl, hoodie, iPhone cover. We put it that might be for $55. And that's sort of the like all the different pieces. I also tried with 2 different offers after the main one, so 2 upsells, and that's kind of the I wouldn't go with more than 2 because then it would get very exhausting for people like getting offers and offers. But that's been working pretty well, and that's what has allowed all these 5 bands to essentially break even and profit in anywhere between 3 and 6 days. They also had email sequences going on. So when people buy this offer after 3 4 days, they just send other offers, whether it is, hey, we are on tour and I noticed that you are in the same city, or hey, we just released this new t-shirt because you bought this thing 5 days ago. Here's a 30% coupon, so you can get that one too. And this like entire process has been working pretty well. But at the same time, there are a lot of artists who don't have merch. You know, they don't have a CD, they don't have a T-shirt. And what I saw working pretty well too, which is something that again I started testing 2 weeks ago actually, is a very simple paywall, like a landing page thing, where you don't have merch, you don't have anything, but you say, hey, I'm releasing a new song in 3 weeks. You can pay what you want right now, whether it's $1, 5, or 10, and you get to listen to it before it comes out, and you also get access to my private group, and you also have a 10% coupon if you want to get something from my merch store. And that's also working very well because you don't need merch, you don't need pretty much anything, and that's very easy to uh, setup, and that's usually something that works better with war audiences. So if you already have an existing fan base that work pretty well, the free plus shipping CD offer works both for warm audiences, so your existing fan base, but also for cold audiences, because the five bands that I've mentioned, about 80% of their sales came from cold audiences. So people who never heard of them before. So depending on if you have physical stuff, t-shirts, CDs, and also the size of your fan base, you can choose whether you want to do the free plus shipping one, or just a very easy type of an offer. And the second one actually is the one that we are eventually gonna build on smarters as well. So that you not only can run ads and get pieces and collect emails, but now you can see, okay, from these 500 pieces that I got, how many fans actually bought stuff from me. So then I know that I can invest more into getting people on my email list and on lifetime pre-sales, because I know then that they are gonna buy from me, and this type of offer works. So again, long spiel, but yeah.
Awesome. I love this stuff. Yeah, I've been geeking out on ads and funnels for the past like 7 years. So I love talking about this and kind of breaking down the unit economics like you talked about it. And just to make sure I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like the campaign that you're running is like a free plus shipping offer. And generally, like, are you running just straight cold traffic like to the page where people can check out, or do you generally have them going through like an opt-in process first, or what have you seen getting the best results?
So it's funny because like even for smarters and these businesses in general have a very complex funnel. Like the sort of sales funnel for smarters with the free trial is super complicated. There are a lot of like, for the average artist, that would be very hard to replicate. But for music, but I don't know, like what I've tried is a simple page with all the info on there. Um, you know, it was very nicely designed. I give you that, but it was just, hey, this is what you're gonna get. It's free. You can choose to pay something. Here's a video to basically show you how we look like and what our music sounds like. Here's a few bullet points of what you get in the actual package, whether it's a CD plus a signed card from the band or whatever. A few comments from people who have commented, I love your guys' music, or I saw you guys last week in New York and it was quite an amazing. There's some social proof elements, but that was pretty much it, man. Like the checkout, order bump, and that's it. And that was converting. I can't remember the stats. I could actually check right now, but it was converting, I believe, anywhere between 10 and 25% from code. But I might be wrong. I'm actually checking that out right now, and it obviously varies, from bank to bank. But now I actually want to double check. So, but okay, this is what the first bank that we did it for. So stats all time takes a while to load, but I think we can continue because it's taking forever to load. I use Flipkart for that, and it's taking forever. Well, please, 70%.
It was a test. Do you recognize the song that I was playing there?
All time low. Yeah.
It's close. I should have done it all time. Loaded guy, complex, cock and bullet. A little bit of Fallout Boy in there.
Oh, right, fuck. That's
Sugar, we're going down.
Yeah.
Down in an earlier.
I don't know why I said all of them. I'm so embarrassed.
That's an easy thing to say. Yeah, I mean they're definitely in a similar. They rent out a similar building in my brain.
But it was 70%, by the way. The average
17%. That's amazing.
70%, yeah.
Wow. So I mean, like, what was the like? How much were they earning on average per checkout?
So here's the problem. There was one guy that for some reason, I don't know how, on the pay what I mean, I can literally share my screen right now, so I can show you. But how do we do that? So share screen into my screen. You can see here $42 million revenue. It's because one guy, for some reason, they were able to pay this gigantic amount, and it didn't go through, but for some reason it went through PayPal. I don't know why was that, but I have no fucking clue. I reached out to their support, and they were like, "We have no fucking idea." But basically, it's 620, customers, 70% conversion rate. I don't know what the average is because this guy screwed up the whole, number. But what I remember is that between this funnel and the Shopify store, they made, I think it was $30,000 gross in a few months, and they were spending about. They started pretty low at like $10 a day, and then eventually they were spending like 50 or 75. But they were never spending more than that.
Okay, cool. And I mean, if you had to sort of like estimate, I'm just like doing some mental math right now, but if we had like a 17% conversion rate, and does that include like people, so they were able to do like completely free, or they like chose their own price? Like there wasn't sort of like a fixed cost with that?
Yeah. So, and this is because this one purchase, screwed up the whole numbers. But if I remember correctly, at least 50% of people were paying nothing. They were just covering shipping, but then the other 50%, there were people who were paying $5 and then getting the order bump and the upsell. They were paying even like there. I remember two people specifically. They paid $100. Just I don't know why, but they did that. So basically, the math ended up basically breaking even on day 3 or 4, and then all the extra sales came from the Shopify store because they were running email sequences and stuff. But what I think not a lot of people would then consider is that you're not. I mean, obviously, if you can, profit on day 3 or 5, that is amazing. But even if you just break even, you're literally buying fans for free. Like if you go to any like VC fund anytime, hey guys, my business is acquiring customers at break even on day 1. I can assure you, you can raise millions of dollars in 1 week. You know,
Mm.
so this is not powerful just because of the sales, because obviously that is, but it's also like now, let's just say that you are a band from the US and you are running these ads just in the US and you get to a thousand customers. You have 1,000 people that already gave you money. So what are like how likely are they to actually buy a ticket and see you at when you are on tour versus someone who's just casually listening to your stuff on Apple Music? Like that is to me that's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because every person like that you're acquiring is actually someone that put in their payment info and actually like made a purchase too. It's not just sort of a, like you said, a casual listener or someone that is in the background. It's like an actual buyer. Wow. I mean, I was just kind of crunching the numbers. Like hypothetically, if you're on average earning like $5 per purchase, then that would mean that 17%.
That was way more than that. I don't remember what it was, but I believe it was, oh gosh, because we finished that campaign months ago. But I think it was anywhere between 13 and 18. I can't remember the exact thing. And that is excluding shipping. So it was that plus they paid for shipping.
Awesome. So I mean, like hypothetically, let's say it was like $15. I like to do sort of like this comparison of this
Yeah.
versus like sending people to Spotify, for example. So like if 17% of people, spent $15, then that would mean that on average per person, you're getting $2.55 per visitor that you sent there, versus if you sent them to Spotify, you'd probably get like a fraction of a penny, because a lot of them wouldn't even stream, the full song or 30 seconds of it. So it's literally like over 500 times more profitable to send them to this page than it was to send them to Spotify. And you can always send people to your Spotify after they go through like this process.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, these are not people who just, they buy stuff from you and that's it. Like, I mean, some people obviously, they just sell a cool band with a CD for free and they are just gonna cut that and that's it. But most of them, no. I mean, the difference between, and that's even true for a business, like the difference between someone who just gave you an email to download a free ebook versus someone who paid $9 for that same ebook, the difference is wild.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I've heard, and I don't think this is like a standard or like a science, but one of my mentors says that your customer list is, each customer is worth roughly 10 times as much as like the prospect list in terms of like the value of the customer. I always thought that was interesting, like that there's literally like a 10x economic difference between like a customer versus like someone who's never purchased anything. So the fact that you're like acquiring straight customers on the initial touch point is like really cool.
And there is so much that you can do when you have people on your list, especially people who bought stuff from you. And I think there is this misconception because I saw, comments from artists under, Smiley's content because we have these email marketing feature where when a fan goes to the lifetime preset page, they also get notified via email when there is a new project from the artist. And there were some artists saying, but nobody reads emails anymore. And that was like, I mean, I did respond as Geo, because but dude, like we don't even have to talk about smartness, just in general. Like you can search anywhere online, and chances are you're gonna find a shit ton of articles who's that basically state that still right now email is the most profitable marketing channel. And
It's not close. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like, what is it like? I think the last time I checked it was like 17x. average returns versus like social media. I think it was like a few, like 3 or 4 average.
Yeah, so if you can get a 17x return, I think people are actually opening emails. I think
Well,
maybe.
yeah, I mean they definitely are, and obviously like there's a lot of fact like it depends on like how good your emails are and the list and are you reaching people who are buyers versus not, but like that's so silly the idea that like email doesn't work right now. Like I don't know, just like everyone that I know that's like killing it right now is like it's because of their emails. Like their emails is like their primary source of revenue.
Yeah, I'm trying to make artists understand that it's a painful process, but you know,
Because it's not on the surface. Yeah, like those shiny numbers, they really do. Like to be fair, like there's a lot of like social proof elements to like having a lot of followers or having a lot of engagement. But yeah, like the email list doesn't feel as sexy, but it's like it's where the real revenue is generated for so many artists.
yeah, exactly, man. So if you're an artist and you're listening to this, please.
100%. So, Gio, man, it's been fun connecting and geeking out a little bit about digital marketing and ads and funnels and emails and whatnot. And I appreciate you taking the time to share your experience about what's working right now. And I'm also curious to hear more about your platform that you built. And if someone's listening to this or watching this right now and they'd like to explore Smart Noise, could you share a little bit more about how they can get started and what it was built to do?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So just to give you a very quick walkthrough. So what Smarters would allow, artists or record labels to do is to simplify their marketing and eventually getting to revenue much, much faster. So, and what that means in simple terms is, you have things like Meta ad campaigns, usually for the average artist or even the, record label person who runs, 15 campaigns every day and they are confused with Meta. It's, a weird backend, confusing dashboard. And they just want to run campaigns faster and not worrying about that and just focus on the music and pretty much other stuff. We built a comprehensive solution for that where you can brand campaigns that are specifically optimized for conversions and getting emails, getting monthly listeners, selling tickets. So you don't have to spend that much time on that. You have different like playbooks and campaign templates when you just connect your Facebook account. You just select the different options and you are pretty much good to go. And then things like link tree type of pages that pretty much everyone has. But then we launched a few years ago this thing called locked up pre-sales, and I was never a fan of pre-sales in general. I think they were pretty stupid in a way because you as an artist need to do the same thing over and over and start from zero pretty much every time. So what we did is, when a fan goes through the pre-sale process, there will be serving all the future releases and not just the one that is coming out next. And then you collect the email, you know where they are from, and you can also see how they are engaging with your stuff. So are they opening your emails? Spoiler, yes, they do. Are they visiting your other pages? Are they clicking to buying tickets? So that is stuff that we show you and what you can basically do. And then, there are other, features like the automated, marketing features and the CRM, custom domains and all that sort of stuff. But that is pretty much, the core of it. And then, something that I mentioned at the beginning that I'm very excited about is the monetization aspect of it that we are working on right now and we are gonna launch pretty soon that I'm very excited about. We have a completely free 14-day trial if you wanna play with it. we are still gonna offer you all kinds of support. There is no restrictions on features that you can try. And then if your audience is also interested, we can offer them something like a free month, so they can even get more time to play with it.
All right, fantastic. Well, Gio, thank you for being on the podcast today, and like always, put the links in the show notes for easy access. Sounds like a great platform for helping artists connect with their fans and actually, monetize it versus sending people to Spotify. And I appreciate the fact that you are a musician yourself, and that you have kind of learned the tropes of digital marketing and funnels in order to help artists with that. Like I mentioned before, I feel like we're living sort of like a mirror life in some ways. So I appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for being on the episode today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.